Using ChatGPT to learn is easy now with new voice chat that you already can use in a pre-version. It's even easier. You can learn anything you want, topics, languages, whatever. It's a great tool. Welcome to another episode of the Beginner's Guide to AI. And it's Dietmar again at the microphone, not Professor Gebhardt. And I want to talk about some of my experiences. What I tried lately is using ChatGPT as a partner for learning. You can now use voice chat. I experiment a lot with voices and talking. As you know, it's a podcast that is partially AI generated. So I'm deeply in a topic of how to generate voices, and the voices from ChatGPT are really, really good. They sound natural. They sound like someone talking to you. And it's actually just in the rollout. I still have the version that is the old version, which is still quite good. And you can really use it as a partner to teach you something like a podcast, but interactive. And it's quite easy. You just have to install the app or go to, if you are in the interface, there's the microphone button, and then you just tell ChatGPT something and it answers in the voice. And because it's quite abstract, I want to give you an example. My phone here. I hope the quality is good then in a microphone. So it will work. I don't think it works yet on computers, but it will in the future work also on your laptop, desktop, whatever. At the moment, it definitely works on a phone. So what I first do is I give still the usual thing. You have to give a role and a little bit of background to ChatGPT. So let's see. Hi, ChatGPT. You are now a history teacher teaching 7th grade with a lot of didactics experience and a knack for good examples. Preferably use examples with cake or pizza. Please answer very detailed. At the end of each answer, you give me 3 options for how to go on with the dialogue, and I can choose one. You create your next output based on that answer. Now please ask me for the topic.
Sure thing. What topic in history would you like to dive into today? Here are a few options to get us started. 1. The ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia. 2. The rise and fall of the Roman Empire. 3. The significance of the American Revolution. 4. Another specific historical event or period you're curious about. Let me know which one you'd like to explore.
Please go with number 1, the Mesopotamians.
Great choice. Mesopotamia is often called the cradle of civilization because it was one of the first places where complex urban centers grew. To help you
I interrupted now because, yeah, we can go on forever. It's really interesting. It's quite well. I mean, you have to always know it's ChatGPT and the topics, and what they have is like Wikipedia knowledge, but that level helps you in most of the things you need. You want to learn something about Mesopotamia, you don't need scientific papers. In this case, you just want to learn the basics and you go into details. The next thing would be, after an overview over Mesopotamia, ChatGPT will ask you for 3 points to go deeper into their topics, and you can choose, like, it would be like life of the normal people in Mesopotamia, the rulers of Mesopotamia, politics of Mesopotamia. Then you just say something. So it's these 3 options is like one of those computer games that keeps the thing easy for you, so you can go on with it. Obviously, you can just make it open-ended and then ask yourself something, but I find it always easier if you have those 3 options. I listen to podcasts while I'm away walking around, and in this case, it's like interactive podcast. I just have to say 1, 2, 3. Although the program is not so good at understanding, you have to go. If you just say 1, it might misunderstand you. So go a little bit deeper and say, like I did now, go for option 1, the Mesopotamians, and then ChatGPT really understands what you want. So that's the basic thing. You can really listen to it, learn from it. They have 6 voices or 5. there was a discussion about one voice that was too similar to Scarlett Johansson. They kicked it out. So it's like, I think just 5 voices you can choose, but whatever, take the one that suits you. I actually went a step further and did something with, I wanted that the program not just answers about history, but also answers in Spanish, because I learned Spanish. So I inserted in the prompt also, and you should answer me in Latin American Spanish, simplified Spanish. As far as I know, the program can only speak Latin American Spanish, so it's relatively easy, but really important is simplified Spanish. So there's always this simplified language level for websites or so, for people that really are not good at the language from knowledge or from intellect. So there's always a simplified version, and that would be my knowledge level in Spanish is not as good. So simplified Spanish is a thing I can understand. Then ChatGPT wouldn't use complicated terms for me. So really that adds a level. So it's not just knowledge, but knowledge in a language you want to learn. You can give it also some things like, if I make a mistake in my Spanish, I mean, it asks me for some options, and I then say which option I want, and I tell it could correct me and correct all the conjugation, spelling, grammar, or other mistakes I make. So that would be also a thing. So you can make a nice prompt out of it. You can actually tell the program the prompt, or I think it's also possible to upload it, because if you use the program, you can upload a file, and you can have this file on your phone, like with, I don't know, OneDrive or so. You uploaded it, and then it already has it, or you can just remember it and talk to the program. I will put my prompt in the show notes. There's possibly potential for improvement. If you have some ideas, just send them to me. I would be happy to hear from you. Also for learning, if you have some ideas, what you can give for topics or how to make those things better. But really, the thing is, it makes learning so easy, because you can now have your personal assistant. My cousin actually started just learning Spanish. My background, I have a Spanish wife, and I obviously want to speak Spanish to be able to speak with the Cuban relatives and all the Spanish people she knows. But the point is, if you have a traditional app, you don't really speak. What you want to have is a partner, someone who you really can talk to. That would be the language learning. And the other thing is, if you feel stupid, I mean, the typical example for ChatGPT would be learning about quantum theory. That's the thing. Yeah, great. I go to a website and it explains me something, and I raise my eyebrows, and I'm like, okay, I don't get anything. The interesting thing with ChatGPT, you just ask. You can be stupid on the topic. Nobody cares with this program. It's just you and ChatGPT. So if you really dump, if you don't get things like the physics stuff, it's really like, actually, I started playing paddle. It's like a tennis kind of like sports, and there's some rules I don't get. So I would just ask ChatGPT to explain me everything. If I ask the people, the people I play with, they say, why did this guy not understand how that works, how the counting works, or whatever? ChatGPT doesn't care. It doesn't judge you for anything. So you can ask even the stupidest question, and ChatGPT will tell you, will explain you quietly, and that's actually a great option for learning in general, for everybody, not just for people with problems in certain areas like me and paddle and counting this, but in general, you can use that. So I'm really curious for your examples. Please, if you have some nice things you learn, so just send me an email, dietmar@argo.berlin. I'm happy to hear from you. Also, if you are interested in more about AI and beginners level AI especially, then just go to argoberlin.com/newsletter. And the most important thing is just follow the podcast. Until next time, Dietmar from Argo Berlin.